Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode number 67. Yep, I believe this is 67, right? I'm just making sure. Yeah, 67. This one is not reviewing the newest episode of the anime. I'm doing hopefully that maybe tonight or tomorrow. This one I'm reviewing the 14th Case Closed film, Lost Ship Sky. Yeah. This one was released 10 years ago. Yeah, back in April 2010. Yep. Now this movie, you basically thinking, okay, this movie has a subplot involving bacteria and basically kind of like a virus, and you're probably thinking, why am I reviewing this movie in relation to what the bullcrap this coronavirus is going on? Yeah, this has nothing to do with it at all. And for instance, this is not exactly like, yeah, the view later in the movie, this is actually, I'll review more about that in a minute, basically, about what the heck this virus is and what really happened. The movie starts off with a group of armed guys, armed goons, storming into a research laboratory that contains bacteria. Deadly bacteria. In case you're wondering, yes, the United States has got one of these too. Though it's run by the government, this looks like it was run by a private company because that's the way Japan is. Private corporations run these damn things. The US, it's the government that runs these places. They break in and they blow up the lab. That's the start of the movie. And pretty much the whole movie, and apparently it's later claimed that the Red Siamese Cats, a terrorist group, was responsible. They claim, but I'll get to more of that in a minute. And the other plot is simply this, that we have Heiji calling up Conan that, oh yeah, come over to Okada and we'll have basically stay at my place, have some food. And of course, who is Conan bringing along? Let's see, he brings along the Junior Detective League, Professor Gawa, Richard Moore, his love interest Rachel, her best friend Serena, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, and also there's a subplot involving there's like a few different things going on here. Like we also have a subplot involving the Kaido Kid. Yeah, another thing involving the Kaido Kid. And of course, because he's here, his arch nemesis shows up here. I mean, not only the inspector frequently chases him, yeah, he appears like pretty much like every single time he shows up. I don't know if just by sheer coincidence or that he's exclusively assigned to his case. Also, Sarita's elder uncle, the 72-year-old man, yeah, they still say he's 72. This is why I think this guy has been around for about 12, 15 years. The guy should be pushing 100. Nope, he's still 72 because that's a strange thing about Case Closed. They've got a very sliding time scale. I'm thinking, you're probably thinking, okay, sliding time scale, the series has been around now for almost, it's not 20 years per se. That was actually about 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's actually been around for almost 30 years. And they claim like a lot of that stuff happened before the events of the series, and yet nowadays we have seen in this particular series, we see characters got smartphones in the series, other people have flip phones. Though they kind of have stuff here, but nowadays basically, it's basically still flip phones in 2010. And basically, the kid wants to steal a very special earring. Yeah, by the way, this is a plot point that actually is put on hold thanks to the fact that, okay, now they're going to Okina. I think it's the name of the city. I think it's even. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name of the city. Yeah, via a blimp, basically an airship, or like the British like to call them, a dirigible. Yes, everybody has a different name for these flying hot air balloons. Yes, the U.S. call them blimps. I'm sure in Japan they probably call them airships because of basically. Because here's the thing, they were kind of like originally cruise ships, and yeah, this is a privately owned one. So, oh yeah, and here's the thing, it's actually owned by the Sosako Financial Corporation. Yep, Serena's family owns this damn thing. Yeah, they also own the Bell Tower, which, by the way, real life, this company does not like this in real life. I'm not sure who owns the real life Bell Tower, but I highly doubt it's them. Yeah, and of course, this Bell Tower poster. Apparently, there's Bell Towers across the whole freaking country because there's one in that particular place, and it's a docking port for this freaking blimp. Yep. Oh, yeah, and despite the fact this thing is flying really fast, apparently we have these group of Yeah, they later reveal these things where these guys are actually mercenaries. Yeah, a group of hired goons storm the frickin' blimp. Lucky enough, Conan and Detective Boys are actually like off someplace because they're off exploring because they wanted to basically explore the place. And of course, I shown earlier about the jewel and the special traps. Like one is actually like a trap door, which is quite funny. The other one's basically a punching glove. I thought that was funny too, and electroshock. I thought that was hilarious. By the way, these traps come to play later. About two of them. For some reason, Conan does not use the excuse me, the trap door. He doesn't use that. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, all to protect the jewel from the Kato Kid. Yeah, this is typical for Jezzo to do. He has frequent traps. Like, okay, let's just basically surround by armed guard. Let's put these things in the most obvious places. To like, put it on top of a building, on top of the ground. Yeah, or claim he'll take a walk on the frickin' sky. Yeah, the kid is known for doing elaborate things. Not in this movie. A lot of the time, he just doesn't do much of anything. Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of dumb with this movie. Most of the cast do pretty much nothing. Oh, and Richard Moore? Yeah, part of this movie, he's asleep. And no, it's not via the tranquilizer. That's actually usually used later. Yeah, like, okay, despite everything going on, how in the world does man fall asleep? And why is he woken up? Yeah, it's later explained he basically drank sleeping pills. Sleeping pills were put into his beer. Yep. And they spread all this whole thing about fake bacteria stuff. Yeah, and this same thing happened while, I kid you not, this one of the terrorists basically seized the place, and you have a bearded man. Yeah, who these people are, their names, they're never revealed in the movie. They're just basically a bunch of nameless goons. They're just hired by the real person behind this whole thing. Yeah, his motivation for basically doing this. Yeah, I'll get to that. So, Conan basically at one point, because he actually finds all the bombs they plant on board, and so he disabled them, and this other he does credit him for doing this. The lead terrorist throws him out the window, off a blimp, and lucky enough, the waiter, who's actually the Kaito Kid, saves him, and they land in Nira, a nearby town. So, Conan's like, okay, he calls up McGuire, says, "Hi, McGuire." I was like, "Hi, Kudo, what's up? Hey, I saw a police helicopter go by. Can I get on board, please?" He's like, "Sure." He gets on board. Yeah, but here's the thing. The Kyle Kid dressed up as Kudo, which I thought was so hilarious. Not the first time he's done it. He's done it several times. He's done it a couple times in this series. But, yeah, at this point... Now, it's implied in canon stuff that that the Kaito Kid does know that Conan is Seiichi Kudo. But in filler, yeah, he knows. He does know. Yeah, it's never explicitly been revealed if it's confirmed he does know. Yeah, confirmed. Non-canon stuff, canon stuff implied. So it gets on board, and of course, well, Sato basically says, "Hey, it's been a while." Says, "Yeah, I'll explain later." He never does. So they get back on board. Not much of a problem with this. Yeah, they got back on board thanks to the roof of this place. Yeah, I'm just basically taking out the wrapper of Dragon Ball GT. I picked this up today for about $22. That's something to be discussed another time. Yep. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. Gets back on board. And, of course, also... Yeah, and here's the thing. The terrorists do actually what typical hijackers do. They take everybody's cell phones away. This is actually not unusual. I've seen this a lot of times in fiction. This is one of the first things they do. I mean, either they take the cell phones or they take the jewelry. The cell phones is actually not unusual because that's very typical nowadays, basically, because people will use those phones probably to call the police. And he does have them call the police. Basically, has an actual police inspector call the police. I mean, the spider fact is, we have an actual uniform off. We have an actual officer on board, a officer of the Tokyo Police Department. He apparently, despite the fact he has a gun, and here's kind of the strange thing: he has a gun. He never draws on the terrorist. I'm like, seriously? And the terrorists don't bother to take away his gun? I'm like, seriously, what is your problem, guys? Oh, by the way, yeah, this way like Ren could basically easily beat the crap out of these guys. Yeah, she's basically eliminated by reveal. Oh yeah, she's back with this virus, even though she really isn't. Yeah, and also she take out the guy who was first affected by it, which is revealed to be some kind of stuff related to the Carpenter stuff. Yeah, how the heck they got on board is not they'll explain. Yep. The motivation for these guys are very weak. Yeah, I'll get to that. So, gets back on board, disables the bombs, all but two. Really easily, mind you. Yeah, and also apparently, is it just me, or they cut out like, when they first showed these terrorists, there must have been about 15 of these guys. And then later, we get cut down to about 8. What the heck happened to the rest? I mean, Conan took out 2 of them, okay. What happened to the rest of these guys? Did they all get offloaded at some place? Because there was a whole bunch of these guys before, and yet, did the people who forget the count how many terrorists on board? Yeah. And, of course, and of course, because apparently the lead terrorists had to leak out information. Oh, yeah. The airship was full of bacteria and bombs. So, the city evacuates. Yeah, it turned to frickin' ghost town. A major city. Yeah. Now, why he wanted to basically do for this city, this actually is never explained the whole movie of why he did that for, of why this specific. Well, it's actually revealed, Mexico confronting the lead terrorist, who turns out to be the alleged first victim of the bacteria. Turns out there was no bacteria. Yeah, the lab blew up with all the bacteria in it. Yeah, and he's basically all lying, and he also and the waitress who was infected too. Yeah, she was later found tied up. Yeah. And also they also have another guy who was affected too. Yeah, wasn't it at all. And apparently the guy also had 2 accomplices. I mean, not only the waitress, but apparently also his cameraman, his camera people. Yeah, his associates. It was a reporter. He was behind everything. And here's the reason for it. He wanted to steal Japanese Buddha statues and sell them overseas because they're popular. Okay. Not for revenge. And basically, also, his ass like, you want to release the comrades? You want money? Like, nah. Yeah, the terrorist, the alleged demands. Yeah. And basically, he also apparently hired 4 other guys to as near police officers. Yeah, Hiji and a little boy who was with Kachin, who was actually a son of her own. So basically, she's kind of like a cousin. And she wanted to marry Kachin. Yeah. They're blood relatives. Why the heck would they want to marry? I have no idea. They're probably a cousin. Yeah, son of a relative. What relative? Never explained. He just shows up. Apparently, some Nero. And they contact the police force. The rest leaves really easily, while in the process of stealing Japanese Buddha statues. Yep. So, yeah, Conan. He basically, and of course, the lead guy actually shoots Conan, basically grazes his forehead, and also grazes across his arm. Doesn't kill him. Though Conan is able to do something like completely unbelievable. Basically, he uses an inflated soccer ball, go really big, and cause the blimp to basically, go underneath the bridge, to basically shoot up in the air, like straight up, and cause the bad guys to take out so easily. Heck, the lead bad guy gets dropped in the freaking water. So Hiji on a helicopter is like, hey, can you contact the Marine Patrol and pick him up? He's like, sure. And of course, he gets picked up, and yeah, and of course, the whole thing with Kaido, he actually was disguised as Kudo. Yeah, it was implied Kudo was the Kaido Kid, and Kaido Kid did something that apparently Kudo would never do. Rena doesn't say what it is, but the viewer knows what it is. You see, he tried to grab her butt. Yes, he tried to grab her butt. Something Ichi never do, like kiss. Yeah, he'd probably do that, but grab her butt? No, not really. Yeah, in case you're wondering, in the regular Magic Kaido series, he's kind of a pervert. Despite the fact he's actually in love with his childhood sweetheart. Yeah. By the way, his childhood sweetheart is actually his next door neighbor. Yeah. And the kind of strange thing is about the inspector's daughter, she only appears once, briefly, she appears like once in the actual Case Ghost cartoon, in the show, but in the movies, I think she appeared once in his first appearance movies, and that was it. Yeah. Yep, and the terrorists, yeah, they're all mercenaries. Yep, hired by him to make sure they, as a distraction to steal these Buddha statues. Because he wanted to. And because it's popular. Yep, so people are arrested, and they all go home, and they all basically, and that's when the whole thing with Kaito Kid basically, yeah. Movie visually looks fantastic. Love it. The fact I think that someone came out roughly 10 years ago looks really good. A hand to visual effect. The only slight problem with the movie is that most of the characters do nothing. The movie. The police officer, like take let's say Kevin and Nix and Ten Santos. They show up, stand there for a couple scenes. That's simply it. Takagi and Saito, they're just basically the drivers. They do practically nothing. Maguire does nothing. Yeah, most of the characters who pretty much like they look at say Richard Moore. At least he has a good reason why not doing anything because he was freaking asleep. Rand did nothing. None of the characters did anything the whole movie. Oh, did the Kaito Kid do anything? Well, he did leave some assistance here and there. Mostly the only character got anything to do besides it was Conan. He was the only character that got a chance to do anything. Most of the characters standing around did nothing. Yeah, and not the first time the characters have been taken hostage. Yeah, this actually happened in the movie. I think it was the second or third movie this was where the characters are held hostage. But, yeah, this whole hostage thing, just deployed to basically steal statues. Yeah, the villain's motivation is weak, and we don't know why specifically. Apparently he wanted to get rich for some reason. I'm like, okay, so I would say aside from the voice performances by the actors and some of the writing for this movie, the best thing about the movie is the animation and visual effects, and of course the performance by the voice actors. The weakness of this movie is the writing. It has a good excitement with it. Yeah, the excitement level is there. I would say the action is actually pretty good for this movie. It's just the overall plot of the movie is quite weak. I mean, we have like 3 plots going at the same time. We have the bacteria stuff. We have the Kaito Kid stuff, which comes completely out of nowhere. It felt like very tacked on because you know, as I kind of felt this was tacked on, and this is my personal theory, is that because the Kaito Kid was popular, he actually probably still is. He actually is going to be here in the next canon story arc after this current one they're in right now. And, yeah, that's the thing about this movie. The Kaito Kid, aside from having going to get a few hints here and there, does pretty much jack freaking squat the whole movie. Yeah. By the way, does he fight the terrorists? Nope, it's all freaking Conan. Yeah, he's the one that takes out like 2 of them and takes out their boss really easily by threatening him with fake bacteria. Yep. Yeah. Yes. And I think what's kind of dumb for this movie to have 3 different plots going at the same time. I mean, I think like maybe like the only plot that got advanced before the whole movie is a hostage thing. Yeah, and that was probably the most compelling thing about this movie. Yeah, and also we didn't have a revelation. We didn't have a case solved moment like we have in the previous movies. Yeah, this movie was lacking in that. Oh, and by the way, what gadget is this movie? Okay, he used the tranquilizer dart, he used the power shoes, the skateboard, which maybe got eviscerated by freaking bullets. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and by the way, before he got captured, we came back on board. Yeah, the terrorists, okay, the orders, not, okay, first capture, like, nah, open fire on a 7-year-old. All because they disrupted their plans. Yeah, let's see. The seatbelt one, he used he used like pretty much like almost every single gadget he has that I can think of. Yeah, all the gadgets he had at this point used in this very movie, which and to the pretty hard to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, does Anita do in this movie? Despite her being there? Well, aside from providing some information, no, she does nothing. Bezogawa does nothing. That's the biggest problem with this movie. Like, all the cast do pretty much nothing. The whole movie. with the exception of Conan. Conan's character. Oh yeah, yes, voice changes both here. A couple of cow guys here. Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's by far the four films I've seen so far. It's weaker series. Some are weaker, and there is a match that comes after this. And I tried looking up before I did this review, and the problem is can't find an English sub. That's the thing. I can't find it. Unless somebody can give me a link to a place that actually has an English sub that actually works. Because a lot of time I'm trying to find it, it just doesn't work. Or just basically been disabled. Or it's been deleted. Yeah. I mean, it's like Magic Cross. I mean, the plot of these things aren't interesting. I like to watch them if they're available. Which they aren't. Yeah, I mean, the TV specials are available, the OVAs are available. Heck, I think even the short stories are available. Heck, of course, on the anime movies, but Magic Files? Nope, they're not available at all. Yep, but if anybody could basically give me a link to the thing, put it in the comments below. I would love to watch them. Preferably under English sub, mind you, okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Yeah, I think I do have time to do a few more videos tonight. I can think about 2. So next video I'm going to do is My Hero Academia. Yep. But see you in the next video. Bye.